you're resetting your learning curve. Tera karam hi teri vijay hai. And you might get it if you're good enough. Experience is better than knowledge. You will automatically get that higher pay scale.
When you're in your 20s or 30s, everything feels like a race. Everyone's chasing the next job title, next role, or a salary jump. But what if, in the race to move forward, you're actually going around in circles? Today on Sajan Unfiltered, we're talking about some common mistakes that young professionals make in their early 20s and 30s. Let's get unfiltered. Sir, so over the last 30 years or so, you have hired probably hundreds, if not thousands of employees. Abhi, when you look at the young generation, if you were to point out a couple of mistakes, common mistakes that you're seeing young professionals make today, what comes to mind?
The first thing what comes to my mind is especially the young generation people like to jump jobs either for a title or for a higher pay scale. You see, today the market is hot, so I wouldn't blame them if they are getting a job where they're getting higher pay scale. So sometimes when you jump jobs, you're resetting your learning curve. So like imagine you worked in a company for an year. You got the experience. I believe when you go to a new company, you should at least give yourself 3 times before you get into a new company. Straight away jumping just because you're getting some extra 2,000 dirhams. I suggest you should demand from the current employer. And you might get it if you're good enough. Because today the market is hot. You might get that extra salary and you might jump the job. But the job satisfaction is not there. You might then regret jumping the job. So my experience is jumping jobs is what I've seen in the new generation.
So, of course, like from 30 years ago, I'm sure बहुत change हुआ है. Back then, I think even like, let's say, our parents' generation, like your generation, you know, there was a lot of loyalty to companies. For example, my own father, I remember he had stayed at his first job for 12 years, next job for 12 years, next job for 14 years. But nowadays, we are seeing people jump maybe every 1 or 2 years. What do you think has primarily caused this? Apart from, of course, thoda sa money is one thing, but do you think that people are chasing titles because it looks good on their CV?
You can say that when you see a title on your CV and show it to a new employee, it might impress them for the moment. But are you good enough for that? Like I've always said, experience is better than knowledge. So the experience if you gain in one company and you are doing well. And one more point I want to add is that if you are having the job satisfaction in that company, you shouldn't jump the job. Because who knows when the market is down, and if that employer whom you have joined for that extra pay scale or the title might lay you off, and you have no other choice but to turn back to the old employer and whether that seat is still empty. So I will once again emphasize on the point, give yourself time, make your ground so good. You will automatically get that higher pay scale. And second thing, when I mention about job satisfaction, it works 2 ways. Like I'm saying about people jumping jobs, but I also have to give the benefit of the doubt to the person who's working with me. Whether he's happy working with me. You mentioned about loyalty. That loyalty comes only when the person working with his boss is happy and he's getting that job satisfaction. He's been appreciated for his work. Not only his work, but the boss or the employer is making sure that apart from work, he's ensuring that he just doesn't think only work to work or business to business. He's also concerned about his family. Some personal attachment is very important. And that is where you build loyalty. I have always believed on the field, everything looks good. But off the field, if you're able to have good relationship with your employer or an employee, things will always work and the parties will not change.
You know, actually, that's such a great point because not many people think from the employee's perspective. And I think, you know, it's really nice that you said this because I'm sure people jump jobs for a variety of reasons. And sometimes, you know, people might not even talk about what's going on at their workplace that has caused them to shift. So, of course, that benefit of doubt should always be given. But that being said, I want to understand, Abhi, recently startups have been booming. I think, if I'm not wrong, in India, but also in the UAE. And startup culture, I feel, has somewhere given rise to this giving out of titles before people are ready for it. For example, you might see a digital marketing manager at 25 years old with 4 years of experience. But in a big corporate, like let's say Danube, you really need to spend some time and earn that seat. So what are your thoughts on this?
So when you mentioned about corporate, if you are getting that good enough, packet or the salary,
Yeah.
I don't think you should be jumping for startups. It looks rosy in the beginning because startups is about taking risk.
Yeah.
Yes, I've always believed in business, you need to take risk. But first, I feel should gain enough of experience. I'll again hammer on the point. Experience is better than knowledge. The more experience you have in any good company where you have worked and you've felt that you've been loyal to the company and the employer is loyal to you,
Yeah.
don't jump just because of a small pay scale.
Okay. And do you feel like this jumping actually hampers one's career long term? Because let's say in the span of 5 to 6 years, this person has gone from executive to vice president at a startup. From there, it becomes very hard because you've already reached a certain ceiling. So where do you go from there? Versus in a corporate, if I'm not wrong, it is slightly slower, but it's more sustained progress.
So that's what corporate is all about. Slow and steady wins the race. If you're working in a good corporate like Danube, I'm proud to say, you will grow as long as you're doing justice to your job. Secondly, like I mentioned earlier, are you having the job satisfaction? Are you enjoying your work?
Yeah.
Third, if the employer is seeing that you are doing justice to the job or you are probably able to achieve your goals, why would the employer not upgrade you?
Yeah.
So, when you are talking about startups, yes, you feel that you're getting straight away a big title that you can jump into. But how much are you experienced enough to start that? Yes, you might have the experience of the old company, but that is a totally different experience what you're going to get. Yes, you might succeed. I don't say you should not, but you are taking a big chance.
Yeah. So, sir, coming back to this point about loyalty, I know you are somebody who really believes in this, right? So, how is it that you can earn loyalty of your employees?
I have always said, and I keep saying every time, that if your employee respects you out of love, that means you have done a good job. You're a good boss.
Yeah.
But he's respecting you out of fear, that means he's working just because he has no other choice. When I say he has no other choice, he's forced to work.
Yeah.
So if as a boss, you're earning respect out of love, that loyalty automatically will be gained. And like I mentioned, one is in the office and one is out of the office.
Yeah.
You don't have to go out of the way, but if you know what's going on in an employee's life, personal or family, and if you can help them out, not necessarily always financially, consoling them, counseling them, being with them at their difficult times, I'm sure you will earn the loyalty of the employee.
Yeah. So somewhere do you feel like social media makes it worse? The reason I'm saying this is because if you go to LinkedIn, you can see everyone's posting about these events they've been to, the promotions they got, and it's very easy for us to feel like we are falling behind and sab aage nikal gaye. So what do you think about that?
Well, social media, jo dikhta hai, not necessarily is always true. Only the good things are shown, but we don't know what's happening behind. It looks rosy in the front, but I've always felt and believed that if you are happy at your personal job और अच्छा कमा रहे हो, social media देख के कि नहीं मुझे आगे बढ़ना है, that's not the right way. I believe you can turn it around in your own company by giving ideas to your employer. And things will fall in place as long as your relationship is good with your boss and your maybe your colleagues.
Yeah. So do you feel कि comparison, बोलते हैं ना, comparison is the thief of joy. So is that something you would advise to the youth कि compare करना बंद करो? Because if someone has it better than you in a certain way, हो सकता है that you have something else that उनके पास नहीं हो, but वो नहीं दिखाएंगे. तो stay in your own lane.
You hit the nail by saying that comparison is the thief of joy, because the moment you start comparing, there is where you feel that inferiority complex. दैट नो यार मैं पीछे रह गया, ये आगे बढ़ गया.
Yeah.
बट अगर तुम डटे रहे हो और अपना काम मेहनत से कर रहे हो, लाइक मैंने हमेशा ये कहा यार, मैं कहूँगा कि तेरा कर्म ही तेरी विजय है. अपना कर्म करते जा, फल अपने आप आएगा. अगर आप ये सोचोगे कि मेरा अप्रिसिएशन नहीं हुआ, और लेट मी पुट इट इन इंग्लिश, एक्सपेक्टेशन रिड्यूसेस जॉय. बट अगर तुम ये सोच के करोगे कि मुझे एक्सपेक्टेशन से जॉय नहीं मिला है, तो यू विल बी अनसक्सेसफुल. बट अगर आप अपना काम करते रहोगे, आप डेफिनेटली सफल होगे. अपना कर्म करते जाओ, फल की इच्छा मत करो, फल अपने आप आएगा.
So, just concluding this whole topic, अगर आपको एक एडवाइस देनी हो to young people in their 20s, what would it be?
I keep giving this to a lot of people, and I love giving this advice because the age between 20 and 30 is the most important age in anybody's life. So if you've got a good job, hang on to it. Give it your best, because जो एनर्जी आपके पास 20 और 30 के बीच में है, वो शायद 30 के बाद उतनी नहीं रहेगी. I don't say कि 30 के बाद आप ठंडे हो जाओगे, बट 20 और 30 में अपना सब कुछ लगा दो, और वो 10 साल या 8 साल में जो एक्सपीरियंस जो पाओगे ना, वो आगे चल के आपको काम आएगा.
Thank you for watching Anis Sajan Unfiltered. We'll be back again next week with yet another thought-provoking episode. Until then, remember to check out this one.